Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo mahabhajanyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna chaitanya namne gaura trise namaha. Nityanandam namastubhyam Premananda pradayane Kalo kalmashanashaya Janava patai namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashak. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jayatam Shuruto Pangor Mama Manda Matergati Matsarvasva Padam Vojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Shrimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Shrimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Prestal Bhisevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambhi Vamshivata Tatakstitaha Karsan Venu Svanayra Gopir Gopinata Shriestunaha Brindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Bhaktya vihina aparadha lakshay kshiptascha kamadi taranga madhye kripa maitvam sharanam prapanna vrinde numaste charanaravindam vrindai tulsi devyai priyai keshavasya cha Krishna bhakti prade devi satyavachai namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh. Kartals, everyone take kartals, play. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Gati Sadma. Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bandon Mui Savadhana Mate. Bandon Mui Savadhana Mate. Jahara prasade bhai e bhavatoriya Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Kori Aikya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitite Kori Aikya Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Arana kori ho mane asha Arana kori ho mane asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Jai prasade pure sarva asha Jai prasade pure sarva asha Chakudan dilo je janme janme prabhu se Divya gyan hriday prakashito Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate Vede gai jahara charito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Dua Pade Loinu Sharana Ha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Ha Prabhu Koro Daya Deho More Pada Chaya Ebe Yash Kushukri Bhuvana Guru De Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur, Jaya Nitai, Jaya Gaur. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Govinda Jaya, Radhe Govinda. Radhe Govinda Jaya, Radhe Govinda. Radhe 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 Govinda. Radhe 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 Govinda. Oh Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. 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 Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe. Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe. Ashtashaki Shiromani Radhe Radhe. Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe. Kanumana Mohini Radhe Radhe. O Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe. O Govinda Nandini Radhe Radhe. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radharamana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Radharamana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda 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 Govinda. Gopala 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 Gopala. Gopala 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 Gopala. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hare. Sachinandan Jaya Gaura Hare. Jai Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram. Nityananda Ram Jaya Nityananda Ram. Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Jaya Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande. Everyone say Hari Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. So first of all, I want to offer my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali, at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Ashtottara Sata Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Then I want to offer my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable, beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Stottara Sata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Ashtottara Sata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Then I want to offer my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, my Siksha Guru Varga, to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis, my Dandavat Pranams. So, the other day we had a preliminary kind of summary and discussion about what the contents of our classes coming over the next few months will be. And I've been continuing to crystallize that. So I've come to a conclusion now. And they must be having a program in the temple room. Where? Oh, so people have hired it for their own program. Okay. So, my conclusion, as I've already pretty much stated, and as I've said, that the whole last year was preparation to hear these topics. Preparation to hear them. Why? Because we read many different introductions of Srila Gurudev, of Srila Prabhupada, a lot of Siddhanta. We read 4th chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. We read the essence of the 8th chapter of Madhya Leela, Ramananda Rai Samvad. Many other books and topics we covered. And all of it was very relishable and very nourishing to our bhakti. So we studied Ragvartma Chandrika, various other, and we came to understand what it actually requires, what is required to attain this Gaur praying that Mahaprabhu has come to give to the jivas. It's not a secret. It's very boldly proclaimed all throughout the books of our acharyas. Not only that, but our acharyas themselves have written books describing their own moods of, in their so-called sadhan bhajan. It's not actually sadhan because they are siddhas. But they are showing outwardly what is needed to attain these things. That's too much. Yeah, just see. At any moment. So we know, and also our Gurudev has told so many times, what? He has told that the 8th verse of the Upadeshamrita is Rupa Goswami's description of what is the essence of all knowledge, of all Upadesh, all teachings. What is the essence? And what does it culminate in? It culminates in the application in one's life to doing what? To following the process of bhajan, which has been very clearly explained all throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, all throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Rupa Goswami has taken the essence of it. And he has told that tan nama rupa charitadi sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya tishtan braje tad anuragi jananugami kalam nayed akilam iti upadesha saram. This is the essence of all instruction. Iti upadesha saram. That what? Kalam nayed akilam. That means all of your time. Kalam nayed akilam means utilizing all of your time, 24 hours daily. In doing what? In tannama rupa charitadi sukirtananu. Sukirtan. Anu, under the guidance of the exalted premi bhaktas of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sukirtananu. That kirtan will consist of what? Name, form, tanama rupa, charitadi. Charitadi means character or qualities, and so forth. But that includes dham, parikar, all paraphernalia, all the leelas, and pastimes. This is the subject of Krishna consciousness movement. There is no such thing as a Krishna consciousness movement without this. Without hearing, chanting, remembering. Smrityo kramena. Smritya means to remember. So, sukirtananu, smrityo kramena, rasana means the tongue. Manasi means the mind. And niyojya means to fully absorb one's mind. in the practice of chanting, hearing, remembering all of this. Where? In the most auspicious, powerful place, in Braja, Tishtan Braje. It actually cannot be done outside of Braja. Yeah, it cannot be done outside of Braja. It's impossible to do this Rag Marg Bhakti Bhajan outside of Vrindavan. You have to be in Vrindavan. Well, then everybody must be asking the question, well, how can I be in Vrindavan? I live in America, I live in Russia, I live blah, blah, blah. But no. If you are trying to approach this goal, your bhajan, wherever you physically are, must be in Braja internally. And that's also not even good enough, because Gurudev has told, also you should physically be. Okay? So we're not trying to cut corners, we're not trying to make the process. That's already been done all over the world. The introductory levels of bhakti have been given, and they're continuing to be given, and they will continue for, thousands of years. But for the section of Vaishnavas who have concluded in their life that I have no other, there is no other goal of my life than serving Radha and Krishna, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, being absorbed in them constantly. All right, you may have your duties. You may have your duties to perform, right? Everyone has their duties, their householder duties, with their children, with their family, with so many duties, especially in the younger years. However, we cannot neglect our sadhana bhajan. If we neglect our sadhana bhajan, you know what will happen? We'll be left behind. We'll be left behind. Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Maharaj, he used to use the example of school, like in a classroom. Like there are progressive each semester, each year. Then you move, where? Where you move to the next class, the next higher level, then the next higher level, like this. All knowledge comes in that way. So what to speak of transcendental knowledge, realization, it must come in that way. That we will be on a certain level, and then after some time we will progress to the next level. But you know what happens in most cases? What is happening in most cases? Because of bad association, because of not following the process, because of not following the Upadeshamrita, and so forth, devotees are doing simply external so-called bhakti. To some extent, I'm just giving general. I'm not pointing out the faults, or I'm just saying this is the state of affairs. And we can't hide it, we can't deny it. And it's actually normal and natural that neophyte Vaishnavas on the Kanishta platform, on the Kanishta Madhyam platform, on the Kanishta Uttam platform, they're all struggling to balance their spiritual life and their material life. All are going through this. This is part of Varnashram Dharma. Yes, it is. It is part of that. And we accept that, we understand that. But yet, this is not the Varnashram Dharma movement. Mahaprabhu, when Ramananda Roy told, right, his first suggestion, because Mahaprabhu wanted to know what is the sadhya and what is the sadhana to attain that. And Ramananda Roy started with Varnashram Dharma. Our Prabhupada also started with Varnashram Dharma in his application. of the Hare Krishna movement in the Western countries. You be grihasta or brahmachari or this or that. Ashram dharma, not varna dharma. Even varna dharma, he engaged devotees according to their propensities, their skill, their abilities, like that. So this is essential. It's essential. That should always be there in the background. In Vedic civilization, varnashram must be there always. But for those who are trying to follow the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and attain what he came to actually give, I mean, we have to question ourselves. Do I really want that? Do I really understand what that even is? Do I understand what I will have to do in my life to attain that? All of these things are very serious questions that we have to introspect in our own heart. And we can't rely on someone else. Doesn't matter whether it's our husband, our wife, our children, our family members, our friends, we have to do it. No one else is going to do your sadhan bhajan for you. No one. Not even Guru. Guru will not do. I was just looking at a quotation of Srila Prabhupada, someone posted on Facebook. And Prabhupada was talking there about how we have to be very strict in chanting our japa. And he was utilizing the standard that he applied all throughout the world, 16 rounds. And then Srila Prabhupada was gradually saying that if you don't do this, how can I help you? How can I help you if you don't do this? He also said, it is aparad. It is aparad. So he was pointing out that on the beginning level even, there are standards that everyone has to follow. And the same example of a medical doctor giving the medicine, and you take the medicine according to the prescription of the doctor. You don't take it according to your whims. If he says 3 times daily after meals, then what happens if you just only take it once in the evening, or like that? So, the effect. We want to get the effect in our life. What is that? We want to be happy. This is what every jiva is looking for, is happiness. Yes? Da. What is it? Shasliv. Shastya. Yes. Happiness. Every jiva is looking for that. Why? Why are we looking for that? Why is every jiva, including the animals and the insects and all the other species, why are they all looking for happiness? Why? Because Amritasya putra, Srila Sridhar Maharaj used to quote from the Vedas. O sons of nectar, you are born of nectar. You are meant to taste nectar. Because why? Our constitutional nature as Jiv Atma is part and parcel of the supreme absolute Rasika Shekhar, the emporium of all rasa, Sri Krishna. That's our identity. We've forgotten that. So we're still trying to find happiness. That quest for happiness. It never stops, never stops. Huh? Srila Gurudev, he used to say, he said, we can live without food for many days and we won't die. If we don't eat anything, we can go on living. We can also live without water for a number of days. If we don't get, we can still live. We won't immediately die. Even breathing oxygen, air, we can also live for some minutes, generally, for some minutes. But then Gurudev said, if we do not have any love and affection, we cannot live a moment without. If we have no prospect, no hope, then we want to end our life. This is the nature of the Jivatma. We require love. Love. We require that. What is this movement? Is to attain the highest love, the perfect love, the highest transcendental loving relationship with the absolute truth, who is the source of all love, Krishna. So, what we have to do in order to take advantage of our good fortune that we came into this association in our life. It happened. It happened in our life that we have come in contact with the association of the pure devotees of Krishna and the disciplic succession of gurus. So, we start from where we are. We always begin from where we are. But we should not stay there. Should we just stay in the same position? What did our Gurudev tell? He gave all these practical instructions, dozens and hundreds of times as he traveled throughout the world. He says, bhakti is like a river. Bhakti is like a river. The river must always continue flowing. If the river stops flowing, what happens to the water? It becomes stagnant, full of contamination. You cannot drink it anymore. So he said, bhakti is like that. It can never stop flowing. It has to be flowing. It has to be moving forward, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. We have to accept that in our life. And we have to strive to our utmost ability to improve. To improve. We should not become complacent. And most devotees, because of anarthas, they have made a nice little complacent deal with their anarthas. They've made a nice little settlement. Okay, I'll accept a certain amount of my anarthas, and I'll act upon that. But what they are doing is they're committing suicide. We are not meant to make friendship with our anarthas. The anarthas, of which there are 16 types of anarthas. 4 categories, 4 types in each category, 16 types of anarthas. That's clearly explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, Madhurya Kadambani, and all these books to analyze. But we know that anartha is something that is not artha. It is the opposite of artha. Anartha means the opposite of artha. What is artha? Artha means what is required, what is needed, what are our necessities. Even the system of the chatur, the 4 pathways of the Vedas, dharma, artha, comm, moksha. So, we are in this material world, and these are required to do. Some dharma, some artha, some comm, and then we are required to strive towards liberation, moksha. But what is real artha? It is called paramartha. Real artha in the material world, they think it's making money, economic development, and all of this. But actual, true artha, which means what is our greatest necessity of our life? What is the greatest necessity in our life? It's called paramartha. Paramartha means the supreme benefit that can be attained. Shreya. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Shreya. Our ultimate benefit, ultimate attainment of the Atma. On the bodily level, this will always go on, but to attain the Shreya and the Paramartha of the Jiva, then we will have to accept the process. That the process has been clearly defined and stated. So devotees who have been in Krishna consciousness movement for a number of years, or in our case, a number of decades, we have become quite clear. We're understanding that this is the best thing. There is nothing that can compare or compete with what we have, what we've been given. So there's no question. It's very clear. Now we have to just go into what we've been given by the acharyas, who have given it for what? For us. Yes. Just like Rupa Goswami, he gave us the Upadeshamrita. And he gave it in 11 verses. Very simple. The formula is right there. You follow it, you advance. You don't follow it, you stay in one place, and you even slide backwards. This is the standard. Here's the process, Upadeshamrita. Now, once you come into the stage of the 8th shloka, as we already mentioned, which is telling the essence of all of these teachings, and then where will you apply that? Then Srila Rupa Goswami writes 3 verses to describe the topmost place in the whole creation. And what is that? Radha Kunda. Now, Prabhupada actually didn't give the Upadeshamrita until 1975. And I used to think about that because in 1975 I was there in Los Angeles and I was doing the layout of the book and the cover of the book. I laid out the cover with the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami. But as I read the Upadeshamrita for the first time, Nectar of Instruction, I thought, wow, this is so important. I wonder why Srila Prabhupada didn't give it before. But Srila Prabhupada was very cautious because he knew that the tendency of neophyte, especially coming from a very degraded culture background, they can misuse that. Oh, I'm going to Radhakund because it says in the Upadeshamrita it's the highest place. See? And they would jump. They would try to jump. And they would fall flat on their faces because there's very high requirement. Yes? Very high requirement is there. We can open the windows a little bit, get some oxygen. Now they stop the kirtan. Yes. Yes, so, but the Manasiksha given by Raghunath Das Goswami, that Manasiksha is what you follow after you've followed the Upadeshamrita and after you've understood what is the type of bhakti that you should try to strive towards. You should have greed and longing to come into that line. And what is that type of bhakti? Oh, that is called Raganuga Bhakti. Following the moods of the eternal associates who live in Braj. That's what it's all about. Hearing, chanting, remembering, Tannama Rupa Charitadi, like this. So, what books have been given to us to reveal that to us? To reveal to us Huh? What are those moods of the acharyas, like Rupa Goswami, like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, like all of our Rupanuga Guru Varga? What are their moods? They've expressed that in their very own verses and shlokas that they've written. Huh? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has told all the leelas and pastimes of the Ashtakal Leela. In which book? A very good-sized book. What's it called? Krishna Bhavanamrita. Bhavanamrita. So, Krishna Bhavanamritam is describing the Ashtakaliya pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Have we read that book? No? That's what I mean. What about the Govinda Lilamrita given by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? That's also describing the Ashtakaliya Leela from another standpoint. There are also other books which summarize the Ashtakaliya Leela, like one of the books I mentioned in the class the other day. Utkalika Vallari by Rupa Goswami. And so what I've done is I've looked at these books online. I've looked at them. I've examined the introductions, the preface, the first verses, the Mangala Charana, like this, and I've looked at them and I've seen how wonderful and beautiful it would be to actually read this, to hear this. So there are about 6, 7 different books, and about 4 of them, they're very short books. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, also Prem Samput, like this. I want to read these books. This is what I want our class to be, because I need it. I need this. I want this. And it's so wonderful to hear and chant. So we've been talking about hearing and chanting of Krishna's name, form, qualities, pastimes, and so forth. But now we have to actually chant the pastimes. We want to hear the pastimes. We want to hear the qualities. So the other day I mentioned about Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran. Now, to read the Ujjvala Nilamani, most devotees haven't read it, and it's a very thick book. We have a very good translation of that. And Gurudev also presented. So, Ujjvala Nilamani is really our program. The Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu of Rupa Goswami is describing what is Bhakti Rasa, what are the different types of Bhakti Rasa, how to gradually attain Bhakti Rasa, what are the different stages of that, etc., which ultimately are leading us to the stage of Bhav, which ultimately is the beginning stage of Prem. So how we can attain? So it requires that we should hear about Radha and Krishna and their beautiful names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Where are we going to hear that from? We're going to hear it from the books of the 6 Goswamis especially, and the Acharyas in the line of the 6 Goswamis. So although if I was in an audience of just all very beginning level neophyte devotees, I wouldn't be trying to read that. But now it's time, and I have my godbrothers and godsisters, and they want to hear also, and they are qualified to hear. So for me, this is the most auspicious and favorable thing. And I know that the devotees, they will be able to appreciate that. But I don't know in the Russian language which books are available or not of these particular books. So that is a separate matter which I'll discuss. But this is my decision. everything that we will be reading is ultimately for this purpose of relishing and tasting. Just like in Badger, when I was there, at the end, we began to read Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's incredible book, which is so, we probably have to read it 108 times over and over and over again to really appreciate. But he is revealing there on the banks of Radha Kunda his bhajan. He is revealing to the whole world his prayers, his longing, his heart-rending prayers to serve the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. This is why he's our Prayojan Tattva Acharya. Because he gave the books. He gave the process. He showed it. He demonstrated it in his own life. Approximately about 100 years. And living there on the banks of Radhakunda. We cannot neglect this. We cannot overlook this. We cannot set this to the side. We need to now, before we leave this body, we need to go into this and start relishing and tasting it. Yes. And we can do. I would not do with individuals who are ultimately manifesting the opposite qualities, who are thinking that they're Raganuga Bhaktas, but actually they're not. No. We are longing for the one day to become. That's our hope. That one day we can become Raganuga Bhaktas, Rupanuga Bhaktas. So in this way, there are a number of books. I'm going to tell you their titles. And these are the books that we are going to focus on. So I told the book called Utkalika Vallari. And the Utkalika Vallari is written by Rupa Goswami, and some commentary is there also by Baladev Vidyabhushan. So, Utkalika Vallari is Rupa Goswami's own extreme moods of lamentation and weeping and longing. And he's expressing that to the divine couple Radha and Krishna in Braj. We should hear that. I'm going to read a little bit of it, just so you get a little glimpse. Then I mentioned the Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran. It's not very long. It's the 3 books of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that he wrote very small, like book reviews on them. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, right? Brihad Bhagavatamrita Kana. Kana means particle. Bindu means little drop. And Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran means just a ray. So this book, I really didn't examine it over the years, what Gurudev gave this book. And by the way, these books that I'm selecting, these are given by Gurudev mostly at the very end, before he left. Why? Because now it's time to give them. So Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran is very delightful to read because we've heard so many descriptions before about the different categories of gopis, about the different categories of heroines and heroes, and all of that is explained by Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Nilamani in depth and with many, many, many beautiful, sweet examples in the pastimes. It's given by Rupa Goswami. So Ujjvala Nilamani Kiran it will not take long to read, because all the different categories of topics have been separated, and there's I think about 15 or so, which are like in the chapters of Ujjvala Nilamani. But now, in like 1 or 2 pages, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he is giving the essence of all that. And I saw that that's actually very readable. We'll learn so much from that, and will become imbued with some more eagerness than we ever had before. Because that's where we're going. We're going there, to the Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhyai. We're going there. That's where our objective is. That's our destination. So, the Ujjvala Nilamani is Rupa Goswami's great work describing everything that takes place in the Nikunja Leela of Radha and Krishna, in the Madhurya Leela pastimes with all the gopis in Braj. And is that not the essence of what our Gurudev always was striving to place before the devotees and encourage them? Yes, that is. So then, Sankalpa Kalpadruma is written by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And the Sankalpa Kalpadruma has 104 verses. It's the same number of verses that the Vilapa Kushumanjali. So, and there's not long commentaries. It's mostly describing what? The different ashtakals. Nakta Lila, Nishanta Lila, Pratar Lila. And there's like here, for example, the early morning pastimes, Pratar Lila, verses 25 through 42. And they're presented by Gurudev so beautifully, and a very excellent job done in presenting them, the translation from Hindi into English. So all the different eight time periods, they're all summarized here. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is showing us how to pray for that. Okay? So I'm going to always, each day, in each class, I'm going to be reading some of this nectar. Well, I may jump a little bit here and there, but we're going to read it. And it's not going to take months, because it's not long. All right, so then that's Sankalpa Kalpadruma. And I already mentioned yesterday Prem Samput. I want to read that. It's so sweet and wonderful. Those pastimes of Radha and Krishna, we already have the paintings. Now we have to hear the actual Leelas. And I'd like to go into the Gopi Geet to some extent. The Gopi Geet. And Gurudev's given an entire book for that. And Chamatkar Chandrika. It's like Prem Samput, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. The covers of these books are adorned with Shamarani Didis. Beautiful artwork indicating that. So, those are the main books, including, and also the Manasiksha, Sri Manasiksha. But the Manasiksha consists of about 6 verses out of 12 verses. And they're pointing out what are the pitfalls. If you want to go on the pathway of Ragmarg Bhakti, Raghunath Das Goswami is very clearly, given the warning that these subtle tendencies are going to have to be completely uprooted from the heart. And in each verse, he's giving the process, how to do it. He's not just telling you, you have to do this. No, he's telling you what will be the cure for these maladies that we're so much affected by in our lives. And the Bhagavad Gita is on Wednesday because it's Gita Jayanti. I wanted to ask you a question because last year, you're an astrologer, last year I didn't quite catch. There was an explanation by someone that the day Gita Jayanti is set, and it's an Ekadasi day, that it's actually the day when Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. But then I'm hearing something different than that. Have you heard?
What? Because I understand it's the day Krishna. I understand it's the day Krishna sang Bhagavad.
Yeah, but last year I was hearing some, and I can't even remember from who, but I just wanted to put the question out because I'm hearing that it's not actually the day that Krishna spoke the Gita to Arjuna. It's a Ekadasi day. But anyway, I could be wrong, but I just wanted to see if you had heard anything like that. I think maybe Madhukar, I think he would know about this. We can ask him. We can ask Madhukar. So, I'm going to read a little bit from Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Maharaj's. Remember the other day, I went through the 4 slokas. Remember? In the class? The 4 nutshell verses of Bhagavad Gita. And then on my own, I went and again read Srila Sridhar Maharaj's purports. And for the first verse, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, he's showing how that leads to Radha Dasyam in his purport. I just wanted to read a little bit of that first verse, and so that we're kind of setting the stage for the Gita Jayanti on Wednesday. Have we concluded, has there been any research done about coming over to the Mayapur and Bhaktivedanta Kunj and all of that? No.
Yes, he said construction is going on until those festival days on the 19th. I don't know whether there'll be a mad rush to get it done for the 19th.
No. I think the construction is going to go on for another year. They're not going to try to complete such and such. This construction is going on for about another year. That's what Bopadev said.
In the temple room, they're just finishing those built-in bookshelves and things like that. But the temple room will stop the construction for those festival days, at least for the time.
Well, why don't we find out, because if we don't find out, we're going to end up we'll have it here, which is okay. Yeah, Gita Jayanti, we'll have it here. But otherwise, if it is available and we can arrange that, I'll come over there. I'll come over there for the program. So okay. So I want to read Srila Sridhar Maharaj's purport. All right, so this is the 8th verse of the 10th chapter. You can remember. You know how you can remember? Because it's right smack dab in the very middle of the entire Bhagavad Gita. The 4 verses where Krishna summarizes all of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita in 4 verses. So, the first one is where we've probably, some of us may know this verse. It starts with Aham Sarvasya. You know that verse? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matak sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, when he, gives his explanation of verses, he breaks it down word by word. Now, here's Srila Sridhar Maharaj's translation of what Krishna is telling in that verse. Krishna is saying, I am Krishna, the sweet absolute, the origin of all. So Krishna is telling to Arjuna, Arjuna, I am Krishna, I am the sweet absolute, and I am the origin of all. The entire universe of material and of transcendental play, activity, purpose, and the Vedas and the allied scriptures which give guidance all evolve from me alone. What evolves from him? All the entire universe of material and transcendental play. All the activity, the purpose, and the Vedas and the allied scriptures which give guidance, they all evolve from me alone. So realizing this hidden treasure, that's the title of his book, Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure of the sweet absolute. So he said, I am Krishna, I am the sweet absolute. So then he continues, realizing this hidden treasure. Persons of fine theistic intelligence, Buddha bhava samanvita, Buddha. Persons of fine theistic intelligence, they surpass the mundane and they embrace the path of love divine, Rag Marg, and they adore me forever. That's Srila Sridhar Maharaj's translation of that verse. It's about Rag Marg. That's what I'm talking about in discussing all these. These are the Rag Marg Shastras that we're going to be reading. But in these 4 verses, Krishna is revealing. So now here's the commentary. That's the translation of the verse. Now, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is describing that verses 8 through 11. Of which chapter? 10th chapter. What's the title of that chapter? Opulence of the Absolute. And what's the 9th chapter? The most confidential knowledge. What's the 8th chapter? Attaining the Supreme. What's the 7th chapter? You remember? I'm getting a little bit stumped also, because I'm going backwards. Seventh chapter. Oh God. Okay. So you know that the Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, right? And they're divided into 3 sections. And each of those 3 sections are 6 chapters. So there's the first 6, the middle 6, and the end 6. And they all have a very amazing way in which Krishna is presenting, but he's presenting the essence in the middle 6 chapters, and they are protected on both sides by the first 6 and the last 6 chapters. So, what is it? Knowledge of the Absolute, isn't that the 7th chapter? Yeah. Knowledge of the Absolute is the 7th chapter. So after the 6th chapter, where Krishna is summarizing the pathway of Ashtanga Yoga, in the 6th chapter, Krishna is telling to Arjuna, Arjuna, you should go to a very secluded, lonely place in the forest next to a river. You should lay kusha grass on the ground. I was just looking on Amazon to buy a kusha grass mat. You should lay kusha grass on the ground. You should cover it with what? Deer skin and soft cloth. Then you should sit down firmly in the lotus position, and you should begin the 8-fold system, starting with what? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and finally samadhi. So he's describing to Arjuna that you do this breathing, your eyes should be looking at the tip of your nose, like this. He's explaining this process of Ashtanga Yoga, which all over the world today, when they talk about yoga, this is what they're envisioning. Actually, they're only envisioning like the first step, called asanas. They neglect the yama and niyama, then they jump to the asanas, doing the exercises, right? Physical. But then after asana, what is supposed to take place then? Pranayama. They sometimes learn a little bit of pranayama. Srila Prabhupada used to use the term pressing the nose, remember? When he would be kind of explaining how that is not a transcendental process. This is on the material plane. Breathing, this, that. But what's the objective? What is the goal? Well, Krishna tells in the 6th chapter that you focus on me. It's not something impersonal. You focus on me, my form, my pastime, like this. Right? But there's no outward chanting in the Ashtanga system. It is internal. So the subtle thought processes and so forth, they develop as you practice the 8-fold system, the physical practice of the 8-fold system. Now, was Arjuna an ordinary person? No. Was he a very extraordinary person? Absolutely. He was famous throughout the universe as one of the greatest warriors that ever lived throughout the whole universe. And he's Krishna's personal friend. But when Krishna tells him that, Arjuna, you should do this, you should go to the forest, you should do this, then what does Arjuna answer to Krishna? Huh? What you've described, O Krishna, it appears to be impractical and unendurable, like this. So Arjuna, who is quite physically capable of doing anything like that, but then Krishna also talked about the mind, that the mind should be focused and not waver. And then what did Arjuna say? Krishna, how you're suggesting for me to control the mind, but that's like trying to control the blowing of the wind. Huh? It's like trying to control the wind. Is that possible? So what does Krishna say? So then Krishna agrees with Arjuna. He says, yes, definitely it is difficult, but it's possible. By what? 2 things. Constant practice, and detachment. It's possible. So anyway, at the end of the 6th chapter, then Krishna begins to tell Arjuna that you should always be a yogi. a human being should be a yogi. They should be a yogi. Why? Because yoga means connecting with the Supreme. Connection, union. So you have to do that in the human form. You have to try to connect with the Supreme, of whom you are a tiny little part and parcel. That's the meaning of yoga. So then he's describing that a yogi is greater than what? A fruitive worker, a karmi. Yogi is greater than a jnani. The yogi is greater than an ascetic, just a tapasvi like this. So he's describing that, oh Arjuna, in all circumstances, you should be a yogi. Doesn't matter, you're a kshatriya, you're this, but you should be a yogi. You should be practicing in your life. But then Krishna, at the very last verse, now he says, Yoginam api sarvesham. Of all yogis, sarvesham yoginam. Of all yogis, of all different types, because there's different types of yogis. So he says, Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmana. Now he's giving the topmost of the yogis. He's explaining of all yogis. Yoginam api sarvesham madgata antaratmana. That yogi who has made me the ultimate goal of his life. Madgata means I am everything to his whole endeavors, antaratmana. And he is always internally absorbed in me, that yogi. Madgata antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam. What is he doing? He is doing bhajan of me. With what? Shraddhavan. He is full of very powerful faith, shraddha. Strong shraddha. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Krishna says, that person, he is most intimately united with me in yoga, and he's the greatest of all. So that is what Krishna is telling to Arjuna at the end of the 6th chapter. And then comes the 7th chapter, in which for the next 6 chapters, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, this is now the main central focus of the whole Bhagavad Gita, of the whole instructions of Krishna to Arjuna, are those middle 6 chapters. And then in the middle of the middle 6 chapters are these 4 verses. Yes. 8, 9, 10, and 11 of chapter 10. Yes. Right in the very middle of the whole Bhagavad Gita. So, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Maharaj is telling us that So he says that verses 8 through 11 are the 4 principal verses of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The ontological substance of the book is contained within the 4 essential verses, beginning Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Everything evolves from me. Now, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 11, Shukadev Goswami is telling that there are 3 main conceptions of the Absolute. Sutta Goswami is telling. There are 3 main conceptions of the Absolute. What are they? They are given as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Brahman is the what? Here Srila Sridhar Maharaj describes Brahman as being the all-comprehensive aspect of the Absolute. all-comprehensive aspect, everywhere, Brahman. Then, Paramatma is the all-permeating aspect of the Absolute, that he's in everything, personally. And Bhagavan is the personal conception of the Absolute, the person. And then he quotes the verse. The word Bhagavan is generally defined as stated in the Vishnu Purana, the famous verse called Aishwaryasya Samagrasya Viryasya Yashashashriya Jnana Vairagyayos Chaiva Sannam Bhaga Itingina. So who is telling this verse? The father of Srila Vyasadeva, Parashara Muni. He's the speaker of this in the Vishnu Purana. And this is the definition of the name Bhagavan. Bhagavan, who possesses all bhaga, all opulence. Sannam bhaga itingina. So bhaga means, or bhaga means opulences. And there are 6 types of opulences. That means he who is full, with all the 6 opulences, full, not partial, full possession of all the 6 opulences of what? Aishwarya, wealth. He owns everything. Virya. Virya means power, strength, virya. He has all power. The universes are created by him. They're destroyed by him. He has all power. Yasha. Yasha means fame. Everybody knows, everybody's heard, no, there's a God, even if they don't believe. But he's the most famous personality. He has all fame throughout all the extension of the entire creation. Yasha. Then comes the main opulence, which is what? Shriyam. Beauty. Yes? This is the main one. All the other 5 opulences are connected, like in our body, because there's 6 sections of our body. So the head, the 2 arms, the 2 legs, and the torso. So the torso, the body is all connected there. Similarly, the opulence called beauty is the main opulence to which the others are connected. Yes. And then comes jnana and vairagya. Knowledge, unlimited, all knowledge, past, present, future, everything. Vairagya, the most detached, more renounced and detached than anyone. That's an opulence. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj goes on and says the characteristic of Bhagavan is characteristic as who? As Lord Narayan. When that Bhagavan is manifested as Lord Narayan, then the characteristic is that all kinds of potencies, they are personally controlled by him. All potencies are personally controlled by him. That's Vishnu, Lord Narayan. However, Srila Jiva Goswami has given a special and a very particular, fine interpretation. He says that Bhagavan means, the word Bhagavan, because we're describing this definition of the word Bhagavan. But Jiva Goswami is giving a more fine interpretation of the word Bhagavan. And he says the word Bhagavan means Bhajaniya Guna Vishishta. Bhajaniya Guna Vishishta. What does that mean? That means that his nature is such that whoever comes into contact with him, they cannot resist serving him. Anyone who comes in contact with him, they cannot resist serving him. Bhajaniya Guna Vishishta. His qualities engage them automatically in doing bhajan to him. So, they cannot resist serving him. No one can resist feeling moved to worship and adore his charming personality. So as Lord Krishna, he, that Bhagavan, that Supreme Bhagavan, as Lord Krishna, he attracts the love of everyone. Everyone. Yes. Is there any other religion that can compare with this? No. They have no Bhagavan conception. They have no clear understanding of Bhagavan. They have no clear understanding of how he is made of love, how he is made of rasa. No, they just don't have any philosophy at all. The only philosophy is, you're created by him, you're placed here, and you better worship him, otherwise you're going to go to hell. Yeah. It's fear, religion of fear. You have to fear God. Yes, there is fear. Even Arjuna became fearful on the battlefield when he saw the universal form. But did Mother Yashoda become fearful when she saw the universe in Krishna's mouth? No. They can't touch them at all. No Aishwarya, zero. So now, in the verse, aham sarvasya prabhavo. So that word, sarvasya, therefore, Lord Krishna is indicating, I am Swayam Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord himself. I am the origin of not only Brahman and Paramatma, I am also the origin of the master of all potencies who commands the respect of everyone. And who is that? Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha. I'm his master and I'm his origin. So now Krishna says, Matak sarvam pravartate. Mata sarvam pravartate. This means everything emanates from me. Did we learn that when we were new devotees? Yeah, remember? So long time ago. Did we learn that everything emanates from Krishna? Yeah, we did. Did we accept it? Yep. Because nobody else ever told us the answer to that question. Where does everything come from? And it can explain it scientifically. And not just this universe that we see, but even all the forms and expansions of Godhead. Everything emanates from Krishna. He's telling that to Arjuna in this verse. This is the first of the 4 verses. So, here, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying, Matak sarvam pravartate. That every attempt, and every movement, it begins from me. It begins from me. Including what? The methods by which everyone worships and serves me in devotion. That also comes from me. All the methods by which they worship and serve me in devotion. It comes from me. Matak sarvam pravartate. Now he quotes the verse that we've heard many, many times from the Katha Upanishad. Gurudev used to like quoting this verse also. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya namedhaya na bahuna shrutena yame vaisha vrinute tena labhyas tasyaisha atma vivrinute tanum svam. So this verse is telling that the Lord cannot be known by logic. He cannot be known by intelligence, or he cannot be known by extensive study of the scriptures. No. Nayam atma pravachanena labhya. Na medhaya, not by your intelligence. Na bahuna shrutena, not by extensive study and hearing. No. He cannot be known in that way. But what does that Lord do? That Lord, yam evaisha vrinute tena labhyas, tasyaisha atma, vivrinute tanam swam. That means that he reveals himself. You can't forcibly know him. But he reveals himself to who? To one who is eager to serve him. Yes. Who is eager to serve him and who prays to him for his grace. That is the statement being made in the Katha Upanishad. That yes, he cannot be known, but he can make himself known. He reveals himself to the person who is eager to serve him and who also prays to him for his mercy. So in this way, Srila Sridhar Maharaj is saying, Matak sarvam pravartate. I am the first to reveal to the people. To reveal to them what? Worship me in this way. I appear as Guru, and through him I worship myself as Guru. So Krishna is saying that matak sarvam pravartate. Everything has emanated from me, including the process of worship, including my manifestation as Guru, who will teach everyone how to worship by his own example. Then, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, there's not a lot of this purport. Yes. Okay. Yes. So, then he quotes the verse from, because he's mentioned the conception of Guru. We have time. So he quotes the verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 17th chapter, verse 27. We've heard this verse many, many times. It's right in the very beginning, first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining Guru Tattva. And this is the verse where Krishna himself is telling to Uddhava in the 11th canto, Acharya mam vijanihan navamanyeta karhi chit namartya buddhya suyeta sarvadeva mayo guru. So now Sri Krishna said to his devotee Uddhava, O Uddhava, you should know the bona fide spiritual master as my very self. Gurudev is the embodiment of all the gods. Never dishonor him or find fault in him by ascribing any mundane conception of place, time, circumstance. Never ascribe any mundane conception of place, time, and circumstance to him. Why? Because he's my very self. So furthermore, the Lord's finest potency. Now Srila Sridhar Maharaj starts going toward the Shakti. Furthermore, the Lord's finest potency is, take a guess. The Lord's finest potency, Shakti, is who? Huh? Yes. Yes. Now Srila Sridhar Maharaj is breaking down Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, because he's the source of the Shakti. So furthermore, not only Guru Tattva he manifests as, then he says, the Lord's finest potency is Srimati Radharani. Now, of course, there are many other eternal associates. Yes. Are there many other eternal associates? Yes. But the highest order of devotional service is represented in Srimati Radharani. So the Lord is therefore saying that my worship is shown by me. I, as my finest potency, worship myself. Iti matva bhajante mam. Understanding this conception, the devotee will come to worship me, always under the direction of my best worshipper. Are we going to try to worship Krishna without being under the guidance of Krishna's best worshipper? Huh? Are we going to do that? No. He's saying here. My worship is shown by me, and I, as my finest potency, you have to go there. Yes, coming now to pick up. Coming. Yeah, parcel. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yes. So Krishna's telling, I, as my finest potency, I worship myself. So is Krishna and Radha the same personality? Because Krishna is saying, I am worshiping myself as my potency. Are Radha and Krishna the same? Yes. They are one. They have also divided themselves into two. And then again they became one. That's the conception given by Swarup Damodar Goswami. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Alladini Shakti Rasmad. Ekatmanava Pibhuvi Purabdeha Bedam Gutoto. So much is there about the conception of Krishna's potency, his own potency. So he's saying that the words iti matva bhajante mam, that a person in the verse, that iti matva, knowing this, knowing that I am the source of everything and so forth, they worship me. Iti matva bhajante mam. So iti matva bhajante mam, understanding this conception, what conception? That my worship is shown by me. It is I, as my finest potency, I'm worshiping myself. So, understanding this conception, the devotee will come to worship me, but what? Always under the direction of my best worshipper. My finest potency and my finest representation, Radharani or Guru Dev. Crossing her, the highest and the most desirable form of service, to me is not possible if we don't worship her. It is highest, most desirable form of service to Krishna. It is not possible if you try to jump across Radharani or Guru. So, now Radha Dasyam. Radha Dasyam, which means the servitorship of Srimati Radharani, it is indicated here in this verse. Can you imagine? Aham sarvasya it's indicated. The service of Radha, Radha Dasyam, is indicated here. Only those who are blessed with divine intelligence, they will be able to appreciate this. And not persons with self-acquired intelligence from this Mayak quarter, the world of misconception. So in this verse, the word Buddha, it refers to Sumedhasha, as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. You know that verse? Yajantihi Sumedhasha. How does that start? Yajanti Sumedasha. It's the verse in the 11th canto where the incarnation of Lord Chaitanya is being revealed. I can't remember the first words. Even my godbrother is struggling to try to remember the first words. You see how our so-called, memory fades as we get older? Yes, it does. All right, so, Yajantihi Sumedasha. You found it? Okay. Yajantihi Sumedasha. Now the word Sumedhasha, you know the meaning of that? It means, Prabhupada translated it as someone who has very fine brain substance. So Sumedasha actually means very fine intelligence. Sumedasha. And those persons who can recognize that I have incarnated in my golden form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Varnam Tvisa Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Jagyai Samkirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasha. They'll worship me by some kirtan if they have Sumedasha. So you can't be an idiot. You can't be a dullard. If you want to be a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, you have to have Sumedasha. Sumedasha, good intelligence, good brain substance, to be able to determine, yes, I should worship him. All right, so completing this purport, that'll culminate this class. So, only those who are blessed with divine intelligence will be able to appreciate this Radhadasyam, servitorship of Srimati Radharani. That's what's being indicated in this verse. So, then he quoted that verse about Sumedasha. Persons of fine theistic intelligence arising from direct connection with the transcendental plane. That's where their fine theistic intelligence is coming from. Direct connection with the transcendental plane. It doesn't come from this world. So the inner guidance and the direction that they receive from the transcendental plane, it is the outcome of Sukriti. It's the outcome of Sukriti. Sukriti has accumulated divine merits that were acquired by what? The association of pure devotees. That's where it comes from. The association of pure devotees. Divine merits. Bhava samanvita, in this verse, Buddha bhava samanvita. What does that mean? Guess what it means? It means raga samanvita. Srila Sridhara Maharaj is revealing that at the end of this verse, Buddha bhava samanvita, they worship me with all their heart. What does it mean? It means raga bhakti, samanvita. These are the anurag. They have anurag. They have love and attraction, which is their affinity. And it's not by strictly following the scriptural rules or drawn from any plane of loss and gain, but is from bhav, inner divine inspiration. So devotion of this high type is completely non-calculative. It is jnana shunya bhakti, as described by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Anyabhilashita Shunyam verse. The highest devotion is that which satisfies Lord Krishna, and it is free from the coverings of any pursuits, such as karma, jnana, yoga, all of this. So this is the last paragraph I'm reading now. The most rare and the most elevated stage of devotion, it is in the line of spontaneous devotion known as ragmarg. The most rare and the most elevated stage of devotion is in the line of spontaneous devotion, known as Ragmarg. In that line, guided by the qualified guru, an elevated pure devotee may attain service to a leader of one of the groups of Krishna's personal associates who serve the Lord in his pastimes, in a relationship of friendship, sakya-ras, parenthood, vatsalya-ras, or consorthood, madhurya-rasa. But in Vrindavan, the Lord is served in spontaneous devotion by his friends, headed by Subal Saka, by his parental devotees, headed by Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda, and the gopis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka, serve him in consorthood. But, now here's the message at the end of his purport. He says, but amongst all his associates, and amongst all the gopis, the highest order of divine loving service is rendered to the Lord by Srimati Radharani. Therefore, the acme of Ragmarg is the service of Radharani, Radha Dasyam. This is the highest objective of the Rupanuga Gaudiya Sampradaya, the followers of pure devotion as taught by Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaur Premanande. You like that? Yes, I like it a lot. How Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and this is our Rupanuga Guru Varga. They're all like this. So how fortunate we are that we came in this line of Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Maharaj, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Maharaj, Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Maharaj, all of it. This particular line coming from Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, we are very fortunate to come in this line. And everything has been given. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to search. The search is concluded right here. So, that gives us our little, kind of like a little peek into the Bhagavad Gita. And I want to continue with those other 3 verses on Wednesday. Would you like to hear?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have to read the whole Bhagavad Gita. Better to start from the middle and then read the rest of the Bhagavad Gita. So, I'm very happy. And like I said, we are going to go straight in reading these other 5 books, 5 or 6. And we're not going to dilly-dally. We're going to hear it. We're going to read the substance, the essence. So I think we will feel, I know that I will, because when I start reading it on my own, I immediately feel like, wow, this is so wonderful, so nourishing. Oh, that's what I feel when I start to read that. So I want to also read it out loud with all of you, and we will all benefit so much. All will benefit on whatever level. All will benefit. Because it's what Gurudev came to give. And like I said, 4 or 5 of these books, they're given in the last 3 years. Okay? So what was Gurudev really, really trying to bring to the world? Gurudev was also giving Ras Panchadhyay, 5 chapters. He worked so hard on that at the end. He also wanted to give the purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita by Bhakti Vinod Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. So although he began that, but the devotees have carried it out. For the last 14 years they've been working on that, and they completed it in Hindi. They completed all the purports of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Bhaktivinoda, the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. And now they're doing the English translation, and we have the first 8 chapters of Adi Lila translated into English from the Hindi, which was translated from the Bengali and the Sanskrit. Yes, so Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhara Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Om Vrindai Tulsi Devyai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. All glory to the assembled devotees.